Well, I felt about that time to speak, right? Because it's a lot of misconception about spirituality going on around here. People be talking, but after you listen to them for a while, you realize you don't know what they talking about. Any one of us, I'm talking about any one of us, don't nobody know who the elite is. You're claiming to be the elitist. And that defeats consciousness because now you can't learn nothing. Like my sister Brittany used to always say. I used to think she was talking about me because I give off that. And you sometimes you do it, not intentionally. I know I don't. Meaning getting big here thinking that you know it all. But like I was starting to say, any one of us can be tempted by darkness. I'm talking about any one of us can be tempted by the persuasion to do something that we know is not right. Now, I realize that a lot of people don't like to be truthful when it comes to themselves. So I will try to constantly use myself as the example. Now, I've read a lot of books, like I said. I mean, I was in for a minute. Now, people say, oh, let that go. Let that go. You out now. No, it doesn't work like that. This is how it really works in actual reality. You learn to be away behind bars psychologically. We ain't talking about physically. Everybody does what they do. We talking about you learn to be a certain way psychologically and emotionally because the things that you ran to hide from yourself when you were on the streets, doing whatever you was doing, sticking up, selling drugs, cheating, beating, stealing, kicking, whatever it is you were doing that led you to being incarcerated, you can't use that stuff no more. So what happens is the longer you in there, the more things you cease to do to distract yourself. Dudes was in there having sex with dudes. I don't care what nobody say. That was not my thing. I was all women. Now, when I was a child, like I said, I experienced some the molestation thing from a dude. Now, I reacted a certain way to it. Now, that doesn't mean that I was not confused about my sexuality. I was. But I just never saw, the need of another man. There's too many women. And women are peculiar folks. So, I looked at fiend books, meaning hustling and all that other stuff. And people dealt with themselves that way. And after a while, he was like, what am I doing? This is dumb. I still can't let go. I'm still being lascivious in mind. That's the deception of darkness. You justify. If you unconscious, how you gonna know something until you acknowledge it with yourself? People look at everybody else, but they don't want to understand themselves and how any one of us can be distracted, tempted, enticed into doing something that comes from these dark, spirits, principalities, or whatever you want to call them. I just call them angels that got kicked out of heaven. That's all. And now they mad. So now, if you look at the Bible, they say they've been coming back and forth. Look what he did to Job. Or they stop all of a sudden. So now we're not being tempted to darkness and our judgment towards one another because we don't want nobody to see what we're doing. So yeah, you go through a psychological, emotional, change while you in there. And being in there 17 and a half years, I ran the books. I had to run to books to basically anchor myself in a real reality based upon truth, not about the lies that I was telling myself. Because I can tell you all the lies I want to, but if I don't tell myself the truth, then I'm already deceived. Sometimes we have to go through some things to know some things. Like Brother James said, adversity will bring you to a point of truth, whether you want to accept it or not. So yeah, I ran to drinking, smoking weed, robbing dudes and all that dumb stuff. But around that fifth year, I was like, you know what, man, you're dumb. Matter of fact, you ain't even a man, you're a boy. Now you come out in 17 and a half years, you're looking at society and things have changed dramatically and not for the good. You see all this lascivious behavior that you just came out with yourself and now you are the hypocrite contradicting yourself by trying to address it. Oh no. There's no hypocrisy and contradiction in that, and nobody's judging. I'm not saying, hey, you, don't do that. I did the same thing too. There's not going to be no good results. It's our generation and people that came behind us. It's our responsibility to go to these youngers and say, you know what, hold on. Hey, little girl, put some clothes on. Do you know anything about modesty? And sit down and talk to her about it. Not sit up there and lust after them. I be trying to look at the sky because they got these little tan uniforms and the butts all tight in them. These ain't never little girls. But oh no, we can't talk about that. Are you serious? We need to talk about it. We need to have forums on it every day because guess what? It is men my age having sex with these little girls. Now let's address that. We can we? Because it become one of them things like incest, um, the mother knowing that her boyfriend is having sex with her daughter. They become taboo subjects, and people are like, oh, that's in the past. No, it's not. It's going on now. If it's happening to one, it's happening to all of us. What are we addressing? We allow our children to sit up and, man, just listen to the most disrespectful music that has ever been created, and we'll be right there in our tight pants, smelling like who know what, dancing with them. Do you think they not gonna get your age and be trying to do more than what you did? It's a cycle, and it's because these men, and I'm talking 64% of us, and thank the Most High that I don't have no children, but I want some. But we got 64% of black families without a man in that house. Do you think that these wolves and predators out here ain't gonna go after the girls that are in there and some of the boys? Who is protecting them? But what I hear it, oh, that girl is bad. They made a big thing about this girl on the bus. Did anybody look at the role of a man? If you're driving the bus, everybody on the bus responsibility is to protect the bus driver because we don't want it to crash. But now, mind you, that you're the bus driver. You see the situation. You're a grown up. You stop the bus and say, hey, what's going on, little girl? What did I do to you? If I did something to offend you, I apologize. Not banter back and forth and then try to justify him knocking her out or whatever happened because she spit and hit on him. He could have been prevented that. We don't see that far, but listen to what happened on the bus. The people on the bus was feeding the little girl by how they was cheering her ignorance. That's our little sister. One of the brothers on the bus was like, come on, little sister, let's just sit down. You want to talk about this? What's going on? Because surely you don't know this bus driver enough to be going off like that. You got some serious problem. You want to talk about it. But we can't do that because guess what? Some of them dudes be trying to hit on that girl. But anyway, the bus driver's responsibility is clear. It ain't about justify hitting somebody, but let's watch how the people on the bus egged her on. What are we really saying? She was disrespecting him, and you can hear all this laughing and stuff. That is the persuasion of darkness right there, the actual reality. We can't worry about what the Baphomets and the Illuminati and Nibiru and Yatsu and everything else is going on because it is what it is. But we got to deal with our own mindset that basically feeds back into it. So now the man is going back and forth. They laugh a little bit at what he's saying, but they's laughing at this girl. But when he said what he said to her and they laughed, she went into action. Dark persuasion. Then, when he got up, he said, oh, you going to jail. Now listen to what's being. Why would I think so much about this? Because I study us to try to come up with some valuable solutions to stop this mindset. It's crazy. So they get to laughing, and then she goes in action, spit hit or whatever she did. He gets up, and I'm going to tell you something. Spitting and a punch from a girl like that ain't going to hurt a man that is truly a man. I know it may sound crazy. Spit can be wiped off. But what if that girl, when they egged her on to do what she did, and you did what you did, what if that girl go get a gun the next time? Did we address the issue? I don't know if it's being addressed now. This is one of many examples of where we're turning to a savage people and justifying it while we're doing it. Where is this infusion? Persuasion coming from? This influence. 64% of us men ain't in them houses there, champ. It is a domino effect. It is a cycle that if the men don't come together and huddle and be like, you know what, whatever our differences is, man, we need to just, man, look. We already know that corporate America is not going to accept no black man in their offices. You got to go through a hell of a hat and you got to wear your butt tight and suck up to everything that they're saying in order to just get there. The glass ceiling is a glass ceiling for black men. We ain't making no excuses. I was a firefighter. And I chose to be dumb. So it ain't just about excuses. We just talking about the deck is not set fairly. And that's a fact. Now we got our women who have become men. Men-like. Masculine in thought. I'm an independent woman. That goes against everything that the Most High done created. You know that's of the devil. That is dark persuasion. But do we want to accept that? No. You can't tell me about